let's get to our conversation that we did not have time to get to in the last segment with Julie Gunlock of the Independent Women's Forum, who joined us in studio earlier today. Take a look. Julie Gunlock, thank you for joining us.
I'm glad to be on.
It's good to see you here once again. Bad week for the nanny state.
Yeah, indeed.
Good week for us.
Good week for us.
Exactly. So in Colorado, we had Senator John Morse and Senator Angela Herone defeated, recalled.
Yeah.
And before that race, or before the election, Senator Herone had said, well, look, if Mayors Against Illegal Guns loses either one of these elections, they should fold up shop.
Right.
And they lost. I mean, the left really had put a lot into this. They thought that they were going to win and show these stupid gun owners in rural America
clinging to their guns and Bibles.
Exactly. Didn't happen.
Right. It didn't. And they're not going to close shop. They're just not. They're well funded. So, I mean, they'll just move on to the next election. That's my prediction. I don't think they're going to close shop.
I think you're absolutely right. I think you are.
We've seen it with the soda ban. Like, it doesn't matter how many courts strike down Bloomberg's soda ban. He gets up there. We're going to fight on. We're going to fight on. We're going to keep this going. Nothing penetrates his ego. Nothing penetrates his ego. So this is not, to him, this isn't defeat. Just moving forward on to the next battleground.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right that we gotta. It's okay to pat yourself on the back and say, "Yeah, good job,"
Yeah.
but then focus, because you're right. He's not going to go away. In fact, he's really ticked off. But I think that this does show that a movement, a real grassroots movement that takes off on its own and has that authenticity, and then is aided by the larger institutions who say, "Hey, wow, look what they're doing over there."
Right. It's a model. It's a model. And
absolutely.
It needs to not be led by the big groups. It needs to be, a grassroots effort. The problem is the mayor's still mayor. He has another job to do. I do worry.
Not for long.
Well, not for long, and he's kind of phoning it in probably at this point.
And his candidate lost in New York's.
Yes, but I do, look, he's going to be unleashed when he leaves the mayoral office, and
he will, but he'll be unleashed in a way that George Soros is unleashed, in
Perhaps,
a way that
you're
Ted
right.
Turner is unleashed. He's just another rich old white guy.
Opinionated.
We're not supposed to care what rich old white guys think. Right?
Exactly. Precisely.
So, why would we care?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But again, I don't think that.
Look, his bully pulpit is Bloomberg News, is Bloomberg News. He has a bully pulpit.
Yeah.
But he's a media mogul at that point. He's Rupert Murdoch. He's he's not on the right. He's just off in his own kingdom. He's like the monarchical.
Archical, I think, was the right one. Yes.
Rupert Murdoch.
Right, but we'll see. But I think this is also encouraging for
such a negative scaremonger today. Yes.
I'm Sister. No. I don't mean to be a contrarian, but here's a happy thought. I think it's really good for those people who do run these grassroots efforts, who want to run these grassroots efforts and want to go against this big media mogul. It's possible. So there.
Thank you.
There. I didn't get much sleep last night. Kids were up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see the world's not really a sunny place today.
Not rosy.
Darn you, sunshine in my eyes. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right.
So by the way, how's back to school going? Still making the lunches every day?
Still. Oh, yes. Yes. In fact, I make the lunches. This is how compulsive I am. They get home and I sit them down for a snack, and then I make the lunches for the next day right there.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that's kind of crazy. But mornings are tough.
No, but I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, I put them in the fridge, and then they're ready. I just put them in their boxes. But mornings are crazy in a house with 3 children under 6.
Right.
There's got to be military precision. And I don't have time to mess around with lunches in the morning, so I make them at night.
I am always envious of people with good time management skills.
and a loud voice, lots of yelling.
Oh yeah, the mom voice.
Right, yeah.
Mom.
Yeah.
Well, we got the dad voice too.
Yeah. So no, we still committed to that, still doing that. And they complain sometimes, which hurts my feelings, but generally they eat their whole lunch. So, yeah. Got the school lunch guidance back from my local public school.
Yeah.
And sure enough, just like last year, it says, skip the rush in the morning, have breakfast at school. Literally encouraging parents. I mean, this isn't being promoted to parents as a, hey, if you have to be to work at 6 a.m., drop your kids off, we'll feed them lunch. This is a skip the rush. They are literally telling parents, hey, those mornings, it stinks. They're encouraging parents to not feed their kids because it's just too busy in the morning.
Right.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that really bothers me. That's the kind of encouragement that I think is the reason we see the uptick in numbers of kids getting school lunches. It's not just because, everybody's poor. I mean, which, look, we're in we continue to be in a recession, but it's because there is an effort to get more people involved in the school lunch program. Mm-hmm. It is being encouraged at every level of government and from the schools themselves.
Yeah, and really what we should be doing, I think, is encouraging parents to be more involved in their kids, and also in the school. Can we shift for a second?
Sure.
Because I just remember there was a story I wanted to talk to you about. Calvert County, Maryland.
Okay.
6th grader suspended for forming his hand into a gun on the bus ride to school. He's apparently 11 years old.
Oh, my God.
He had already served a day-long in-school suspension. And
I wonder how long it's going to be until I come in here and I sit down and I'm crying because my kids have been suspended for doing similar things. I mean, they're little boys. They do this kind of stuff.
So here's the thing. Washington Post, to their credit, did a pretty good job with this story. They say the case is one in a growing number of students. In Calvert County, last year, kindergartner was suspended for 10 days for bringing his cap gun on, like a cowboy-style cap gun on a school bus. Punishment was cut to 3 days. In August, 2 school board members requested a review of the Calvert County weapons policy. And it supposedly wasn't zero tolerance, but that's basically what it was. They had 12 families have come forward since late May with incidents that fell into the weapons policy, but parents said did not involve actual threats. In one case, a middle schooler was reading a hunting and fishing magazine.
No.
Yes. A middle schooler was reading a hunting and fishing magazine during a free period, and he was suspended because the back page advertisement showed a fishing knife.
Unbelievable.
Another case, a middle schooler was suspended for saying that he wished he had a gun to protect everyone after the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School.
This is outrageous. Outrageous. But, this is Maryland. Let's talk a little bit. Let's remember that this is the same state, another school district. I can't remember which county. Might have been St. Mary's. I can't remember exactly. But remember they banned hugging? Mm-hmm. And they banned a number of things that, they thought could, were making both administrators and teachers and parents nervous. Mm-hmm. And it was parent-led. That one was actually parent-led. So, Maryland is looking crazier and crazier. It's great that the Washington Post covered it, though, so fairly.
October the 10th is when the school board takes this up. And I think not just every parent in Calvert County, but if your kids are going to Calvert County schools and you hearing about this bothers you, get your ass off the couch, skip whatever's on TV that night, go to the school board meeting.
Yeah.
There's actually a 30-day public comment period right now, so people can comment now, but go to that school board meeting
and
say you are insane.
This is what we're talking about with Colorado. It was a grassroots effort. Yep. There was a real opposition to this. They made a change, a significant change. You can do it at the school board level. People need to get up, call their neighbors, call the people that they're like-minded people that they're friends with, and say, we've got to do something about this, because someone's going to show up and they're going to be brave and they're going to get up there and they're going to complain, and it might be an empty room. You wouldn't believe how empowering it is. I hate that word, but you wouldn't believe how empowering it is when you have
when it's legit.
when you have people behind you. There's safety in numbers.
Right.
So people down there need to be aware of this and sort of get active. And it's not just this issue. All around the country, there are efforts like this to sort of indoctrinate kids with a number of other environmental messages and things that really don't need to be taught in schools. this is where it matters. Getting involved, hey, it's great that you're voting for president and for your senators and your House members, but school board matters most. It really does.
I don't know if it matters most.
Well, most. Maybe not most, but it
matters. It absolutely matters. Look, as someone who covered, that was one of my beats when I was a beat reporter. I had crime and education, which was really weird, and City Hall for a little bit. And so I used to have to go to school board meetings. And my kids were in the Oklahoma City school system at the time, and I'm covering the Oklahoma City school system. And so, I'm going as a parent, but I'm also going as a reporter.
Right.
Inevitably, there were 4 people there whose kids weren't being honored for something and recognized. Right. I'm thinking there are 20,000 some odd students in this school system.
Right.
Why are there 5 parents here? This is amazing.
Well, when I say it matters most, I mean that one voice can actually matter more than, look, I don't want to discourage people from voting. But
I know what you're saying. The more local the election, well, hopefully the more local the election. Look, you go back to Colorado, and this was a huge complaint for those people who were involved in the recall, the arrogance of their state senator. We kind of expect our U.S. senators not to respond to our emails, right? Yeah. But we expect some sort of contact back from a staffer or something. Right. But when your state senator,
yeah,
dude, it should be your neighbor, or you run into him at church, you meet him in
he's
the
the manager
supermarket.
of Taco Bell. Yeah.
He's in your community, and he's out there saying, don't listen to your constituents.
Yeah.
Hell yes, you're going to have people angry about that.
Yeah.
The more local that you are, the more responsive we think you should be to your constituents. So if you're talking school board, you're talking county supervisors, you're talking, mayors of small communities or city council members.
Right.
A few voices can have a big impact.
There's this, I think in this country there's been this sort of people get pretty obnoxious when they get an elected office. And it doesn't matter at what level. I mean, they could be the mayor of a town of 4 people, and they get this sort of, don't forget, everyone works for you that's elected. If you elect them, they work for you. They are not better than you. They are not above sort of being questioned, and you can demand answers. It's their job to provide them. So, this sort of, false bravado that they have is a little bit, I think it can put people off, but they should, like you said in Colorado, the idea that a state senator wouldn't get back to constituents on a very important issue, we saw the results.
And taking phone calls from Joe Biden at the same time.
Yes.
That's just...
Right.
And exactly, as you say, we see the results. Win for the people.
Yay.
All right. Julie Gunlock, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us on Friday. I'm glad that we got to see you. I was worried that we wouldn't be able to.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.